Makofi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kayamba Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed. I have seen people that I thought could not shake a leg, doing much more than just shaking a leg. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the last session, which is the closing ceremony of the second International Symposium on Intellectual Property Protection and Enforcement, ISIPPE 2. As I mentioned yesterday when we started this off, we had come here, or we are here indeed, to exchange experiences, ideas, and pointers on combating counterfeiting across sectors. We've heard how and what strategies and actions we can take, indeed, to empower consumers in the fight against this scourge, the kind of legal frameworks, proposals, regulatory blueprints, the role of law enforcement agencies, and so on and on. So, ladies and gentlemen, I now want to take this opportunity to ask you to join me in welcoming the person who shall be able to lead us in terms of the recommendations and the way forward. Indeed, based on the conversations, based on the discussions, the presentations, very insightful presentations that we have been privy to, not just in this wonderful amphitheater, but also in the breakout session rooms that all of us have had the privilege to really be part of. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Robbie Mbogwa-Njoroge, the Executive Director, Anti-Counterfeit Authority. Please welcome Bwana Ibi.
Thank you, Modibo. Good afternoon. I'm Jambo. I hope you had a wonderful interaction for the last 2 days. The board members present who have joined us today, this afternoon in this closing event, Mr. Gilbert, maybe you can wave to Pigema Coffee. We have got Scholastica Bilo, a board member. We also have Nede Kipto. And we have Chegma Macharia. At this juncture, I also want to recognize my team, the directors, deputy directors first, then other staff in Tawaita. Let's be upstanding. We have them here. We have Kip Kemoy, Ditse, far end, Tumpigema Coffee. We have Osman Yusuf, Chemketich Neri, Maina Omusudi, Mary Mwinga, Dr. Akoten, Agnes Karengo, Refa Kitavi. Let's also, can be seated. Let's have the other staff members, all the ACA team. Let's be upstanding. And because there are many of them, some of them are backbenchers. They are doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and I think there are people who have prepared this. We're giving water to a coffee. Thank you very much, my team, for being a good team players and making things happen. Actually, this event, maybe just say this, was prepared by ACA team, the event organization, and all the things that have been done by that team. The great team, and I'm proud to be part of that team and to be leading such a wonderful team. So whereas the issues of counterfeit good continues to pose significant threats to public health, safety, and the integrity of IP, it is incumbent upon us to work and continue ensuring that we deal with these matters of counterfeiting at every instance where it happens. We started this event yesterday, and we were very clear by the time when we were starting this event, because we had agreed that whatever the deliberations, because we wanted to cross-pollinate ideas, and the ideas that have come across, right from the local participation, people from the Republic of Kenya. We also have the regional representation. We should also recognize our friend from Tanzania, Fair Competition Commission. Maybe you can be upstanding. Let's recognize her. She's representing our counterpart in the other side of the border. Fair Competition Commission of Tanzania deals with 2 acts of parliament. The first one is on competition. Here in Kenya, we have got Competition Authority, and the other act is on counterfeiting. So they deal with the 2 mandates. And what we have been doing is reaching out to our counterpart within the region. We also have the representation from South Africa, Paul Amara, and your team, you can be upstanding. Then we also have representation from all the intellectual property organizations. Let's be upstanding. Are they still in the room? Yes, Mr. Tobias. This is the mother institution on IP in the world, and they are doing a great job in Geneva, and you are good partners in progress. Then European Union, represented by Greg. Thank you very much, Greg. And then you also have OECD representation, issues of economic. And I think we do read a lot of your reports on economic affairs in the world. And your Dover's always meeting, and we are glad to be part. Kerry from the US Department of Border Security. I also wish to recognize my teacher. He taught me at the university, Professor Sihanya. Tumpigie makofi. He's an IP guru in this country, and we really appreciate the participation of each and every one of you. And I know all the scholars, the lecturers who are here, the law firms, we really appreciate your participation. And it is through those type of engagement that we have had since yesterday that my team have come up with critical recommendations that we are going to share with the Cabinet Secretary, because one of our key mandates is to advise the CS on matters of IP, trade, and intellectual property, including counterfeiting. That is mandate number 5 of our act. And this is the responsibility that made us to be here. So we'll be taking a memorandum to our Cabinet Secretary. We're also going to be sharing this with all other players, both local, regionally, and internationally. And whereas the findings underscore the exigency of state interventions to augment public awareness regarding the pernicious effect of counterfeit product, particularly those impinging upon health and well-being, there is a concomitant need for the implementation of aggressive marketing strategies to bolster the sales of genuine products. Moreover, an in-depth examination of consumer motivations for purchasing counterfeit goods is imperative to devise good ways of dealing with the vice. Furthermore, your deliberations within various breakout sessions did bring out critical role of advanced authentication technologies, including but not limited to artificial intelligence, blockchain, and deep learning in fortifying the defense against counterfeiting. The engagement of IP right owners is in unique product authentication method. You also mentioned the issues to do with awareness creation and enforcement initiative as advocated as a cornerstone of the anti-counterfeiting strategy. Whereas the legal frameworks and regulatory strategies are pivotal in this endeavor, the harmonization of existing IP laws and the enhancement of cross-border cooperation are essential for effective enforcement. The necessity for a unified global approach to intellectual property crime, as emphasized in the international cooperation discussions, underscores the imperative for collaborative capacity building and intelligence sharing mechanisms. Additionally, the phenomenon of online counterfeiting necessitates the adoption of innovative strategies and evidence-based approaches, highlighting the importance of multi-sectoral collaboration. Regular training and capacity building programs for enforcement officers are also crucial to maintaining the efficacy of brand identification and protection techniques. Whereas cultural considerations influence counterfeiting behaviors, the application of cultural dimensions to analyze this impact and formulation of culturally sensitive communication strategies are essential for effective outreach. In summary, ISIPPE has delineated a comprehensive framework of recommendations aimed at bolstering legal, technological, and collaborative efforts to combat the counterfeit menace, thereby safeguarding public health, economic interests, and the sanctity of IP rights. We have a summary of each session. Session 1, we are talking about counterfeit problem, global and counterfeiting consumer survey 2023. That was the topic. And arising from that, there were some deliberations and made many observations. 3 observations were made. The first one is on health and risks. And it was observed that 40% of consumers in Kenya have had health issues from counterfeit medicine, particularly antibiotics, highlighting the need for a state intervention in raising awareness. That's number 1 within that session. On session number 2, marketing genuine products. Within that, the other issue that was identified was marketing genuine products within that session. And under this, it was observed that aggressive promotion and sales of genuine products should be prioritized. Because when bad people join hands, good people must band together so that you are able to fight the influence of the few people who can even poison a well. The item number 3 under that section was on consumer motivation. And it was observed that there's need to create understanding and also come up with a mechanism of understanding why consumers purchase counterfeit products, so as we are able to develop effective solutions. During the breakout 1.1 on authentication technologies in pharma and healthcare, 3 items were also identified. The first one being technological solutions, which emphasizes the use of artificial intelligence, blockchain, and deep learning to combat counterfeiting. That is one of the things that was identified, particularly in that session. The other item that was identified in that session was on the unique authentication, and that intellectual property owners should use unique methods to authenticate their products. And finally, item number 3 was on awareness and enforcement. And it was observed that there was need for have continuous effort in awareness and training for better identification and protection of genuine products. On breakout 1.2 on emerging technologies and traceability and authentication, 3 items, 3 elements were identified as well. The first one being collaboration and awareness. That is the need to have importance of industry and public collaboration in raising IP rights and awareness, because no single entity in the world can fight this type of multinational crime. Then we also had AI and blockchain, that these technologies are critical, but face challenges like cost and complexity. And item 3, support for SMEs. There is need to provide subsidies and support to help SMEs adapt advanced IP protection and technologies. Today, we are also represented in these by IP representative. Mr. Mutahi, you are there? The chair, to begin Makofi. He is representing MSMEs in Kenya, and we are happy that he's also in our midst. Session 2, we discussed the issues of legal frameworks and regulatory strategies. And under this, we have identified 2 items. The first one is the need to strengthen our legal frameworks, emphasize on the importance of existing IP laws and the need for their harmonization. And under this, and we're also pushing, there is need, for instance, within the East African community, and this is a discussion that we have had with our Tanzanian counterparts. We need to revive the anti-counterfeiting bill, which has been in limbo for the last 1 decade, so that we can have harmonized IP laws within the East African community, which boasts 7 members, and a population, quite a big population, with the entry of DRC recently with about 80 million people. And then we have Somalia, we have Southern Sudan, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi. And I'm sure that our neighbors, Ethiopia, they're in the pipeline, and they'll be joining the cooperation soon. Then you also have cross-border cooperation under that. That is a need to have global collaboration, which is essential for effective enforcement and tackling counterfeiting. Breakout 2.3, we were discussing international cooperation and collaboration. And there are two points that were identified. One, need for a unified approach, because no single nation can combat counterfeiting, but we need to have a unified global approach, which is very necessary if you are to fight, and we have to win in this regard. Then the point number 2 was on capacity building and intelligence sharing, that we need to devise and come up with key strategies for enhancing enforcement and protection across our borders. Session 3 was on combating online counterfeiting and piracy. And here we had 3 points as well. The first one is on innovative strategies. There is need to adopt new technologies and methodologies to combat counterfeiting. Point number 2, on collaboration, importance of collaboration and among government bodies, NGOs, and the private sector. And we are happy that today we are having government agencies represented here. We have KEBS in the House. We have Kenya Revenue Authority, among other agencies, as well as international and regional bodies, both at government level or private, within the private sector space. Then there's also need to have evidence-based approaches, meaning that we need to use data-driven method for policy formulation and implementation. And within the breakout 3.1 on research on counterfeiting and piracy, we discussed the issues of consumer demand, that nearly 50% of consumers purchase counterfeit goods knowingly, driven by low cost and availability on social media. And that you also observed that there is need to have collaborative approach, national and international cooperation in research, and policy implementation is critical. And breakout 3.2, you discuss the issues of capacity building, initiatives, and training programs. And here you identified the issue of brand identification training, regular training program for enforcement officers to stay updated on IP protection. And I'm happy also to note that this event actually started on Monday. We had 2 days for brand identification training. The first day we did train a number of our officers drawn from various enforcement agencies, and many companies came together, including local companies like East African breweries who are there. Then the second day, we also had some Japanese companies, and we are happy that they joined us today. They had to leave early. I think they have their flight back to Tokyo. And this is some of the things that I will impress upon those who are participating. If you're a brand owner, feel free always to knock on our doors. We can always organize those type of trainings because, as you know, Chinua Achebe says that since men have learned to shoot without missing, the neck of the bird has learned to do what? To fly without patching. So it's also a high time for us, because counterfeiters, sometimes they are always ahead of us, but it is upon you to engage with authority so that our officers, our enforcement officers, they're equipped with the necessary knowledge on how to identify and also curb those type of counterfeit goods. On session 4, we discussed global perspectives and cultural considerations. And here we identified quite a number of issues, about 4 or 5, The first one being cultural influence. There is a need to understanding cultural dimensions like power distance, individualism, and uncertainty avoidance is crucial in addressing counterfeiting behaviors. What make people to prefer counterfeit goods? There is also need to have effective communication strategies, and this is utilizing social media, educational campaigns. We need to have influencers who are on our side to raise IP awareness and promote authentic products within economy. And then there is also the issue of digital literacy. Need to educate consumers on digital literacy and online safety to protect against counterfeit products. The other issue that was identified within that section is the issue of consumer engagement. There is need to have regular consumer awareness programs highlighting the adverse effect of counterfeit goods. And lastly, on the issues of legislative support, the people who were in that session, they observed that there is need to strengthen legal frameworks and providing support for the adoption of anti-counterfeiting technologies. I think those are deliberation, and because you have done a great job, why don't you clap for yourselves? And we give you a commitment that whatever the deliberation that you have made, they were not made in vain. There will be some serious consideration to this, and definitely when we meet again next year, a time like this, it's hopeful that we can always look back and say, what did you do with the recommendation that we made in 2024? Because here we are here to ensure that you have got a safe future devoid of counterfeit goods and promoting and protecting our health and safety. I wish to stop there and I'd like to invite my chair on behalf of my chair. We have Mr. Bet to come and speak on behalf of the chair and to make his closing remarks. Tumpigie makofi as they come out to the stage.
Thank you, Dr. Mbuga. Good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. So board members, colleagues who are present, I think they have already been introduced, so I will skip that. The dignitaries present, all the participants, and the staff of ACA. I'm standing here on behalf of the board chairman, who was supposed to be here with us for this closing session, but is bereaved, so he was unable to join us. I think the message has been clear. For the last 2 days, we have had various speakers almost with the same message. And as one of my colleagues put it yesterday, since this is a campaign against this menace, so the message has to be repeated all the time. So I think within these 2 days, we have had very fruitful discussions, and we see this as a board. This has been a very successful event, being the second ISIPPE symposium. It has been very successful, we have had very fruitful deliberations. And indeed, this event fits within our mandate as a SCA. First of all, in terms of building capacity on IP issues, which we have ably done, and also carrying out inquiries and research on matters IP. And I think that is why we have all the stakeholders here, including even stakeholders from the IP owners and even from research bodies. The executive director has just presented here on the highlights of the key issues that has come up from this symposium. And these are the issues that are going to be able to inform our policies. And going forward, ACA is going to prepare policy briefs based on these issues for presentation to our cabinet secretary, who is responsible for matters trade. And I want to reiterate on behalf of the board that ACA is ready to deliver on its mandate, as it has always done. And this is in line with our strategic plan 2022-2027. And one of the issues that, one of the key pillars in our strategic plan is to continue positioning ourselves as an enforcement authority to influence policy on matters counterfeits. We are also focusing on engineering our enforcement, leveraging on technology, because technology, we are in a technological world, as various speakers have already pointed out. And I think yesterday there was the discussion on the use of AIM system to strengthen enforcement. Also issues of data-driven decision making. That is why we are emphasizing on research, so that whatever decisions we are making are informed by data. Issues also of institutional strengthening. Support, we are really focusing on strengthening ACA to be able to discharge its mandate. And in that, we have been able to expand our reach as an authority. Right now, we have our presence in five regions, with two additional regions that are added recently. That is, we have our offices in Eldoret, Mombasa, Kisumu, and recently we have established offices in Nyeri and in Athi River, which is the eastern region. And I think going forward, we indeed aim to strengthen our operations even to all the 47 default units, so that we can be able to address this menace. We will also be looking at increasing, improving our capacity in terms of trainings, in terms of our numbers, because as we have been informed by data that this counterfeiting is issue is always evolving, and the challenge is growing. So we still aim to strengthen our capacity as an enforcement agency to be able to deal with this. Issues of resource mobilization, and here we call upon our partners to be able also to support on this ends, so that we can be able to have adequate resources to be able to win this war. So I wish to end there and to thank everyone for your participation. Indeed, this has been a very successful discussion. And we look forward again to this continuous engagement from all our stakeholders, that we are always having these discussions, and we keep the campaign alive. So allow me to end there and to thank everyone. As we discuss, we take the message from wherever you are, whatever institution you are coming from. Let's always exchange ideas and continue the campaign on this fight against counterfeit, because I think we have all been informed by the experts, the various speakers, about the dangers and the losses associated with these fights. So thank you very much on behalf of the board, the entire board, and the board chairman. I thank you all. And that brings us to the end of this two-day symposium. And at this point, I want to declare the symposium officially closed. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Bwana Director. Just want to invite Agnes Karingu, Deputy Director, ACA, to give us a vote of thanks before we do the prayers, and then we see what's next.
My board members, CEO, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, good afternoon. Good afternoon. So I'm here to give a short vote of thanks, which my Executive Director, Dr. Robbie Mbogwa, has already mentioned a few of our stakeholders, our partners. But still allow me to pass this vote of thanks on his behalf and on behalf of the entire of the Anti-Counterfeit Authority. I wish to begin with our CS, Honorable Rebecca Miano. Even though she did not make it here, we had her goodwill, and therefore we do appreciate her in absentia. And also Honorable Dr. John Mwana, our PS, the Principal Secretary for the State Department of Industry. We want to really acknowledge his support all through the planning, and also by sending the representative who was here with us, the acting State Department Secretary, Department for Industry, Mr. Masharia, and also the Secretary Administration, who was here with us and is also a board member. I would also want to acknowledge the presence and the support of the board members led by Honorable Kabeabea, our chairman, in absentia, and the ones who are here physically. Thank you so much for being with us throughout the sessions. I want to appreciate our sponsors. Some of them in absentia, some of them are here. We had the sponsors of this event who co-sponsored with us. And I want to acknowledge the support of ABAC, the Alcoholic Beverages Association of Kenya, the Media Council, KCB, and Kenya Bureau of Standards in that order. Let's appreciate all this. I acknowledge and appreciate the support and the presence of our international partners led by WIPO, who are here physically, and we also got to hear from the Assistant Director General of WIPO, Honorable Edward Kwakwa, but representing WIPO here physically, a team led by Tobias Bednaz. Thank you so much for the support in the planning and also being here. I acknowledge the presence and support of the European Union delegation to Kenya and the European Commission in general, the Japan Patent Office and JETRO, all from Japan, And I also want to acknowledge the other international partners who include the U.S. Department of Justice, the U.S. Food and Drugs Administration, FDA, and OECD. These are bodies well known globally, and they support us in terms of information and sharing of ideas, informing our strategy, not just for ISIPPE 2, but also in our day-to-day implementation of our mandate. Let's appreciate them with the hand clap. Regionally, we have the support and the presence of the Fair Competition Commission from Tanzania, and also the Anti-Counterfeiting Network from Uganda, with whom we also work closely. We thank you, we appreciate you for your support and for being here. Let's appreciate them with the hand clap. And now I want to go to our speakers and our panelists. Some of them drawn from those institutions that I've already mentioned, others drawn from the academia. And I just want to appreciate, not in any order, the University of North Umbria, the Michigan State University. I want to appreciate even locally, we had the University of Nairobi, we had the USIU, we have Masinde Mulilo University, all the way from Bungoma. We have the Kabarak University represented, and we also have the Catholic University of Eastern Africa represented. And we continue to reach out and to work together with these specific learning institutions. Let's appreciate these institutions for great contributions. Allow me to just go back a little bit to the regional and the international, just to mention one institution, the CIPC, South Africa. And we really do acknowledge your support and working with us all along. Please, let's appreciate CIPC. Among the speakers and the panelists, we had IP experts. We have also the representation and speaking also the IPR agents. And we really do want to thank you, and particularly because we know that the agents, you have been working with us diligently, and we want to request that we continue working together. Thank you so much for your support. From the private sector, we do have Kenya Association of Manufacturers that was here yesterday. We do have also the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, represented by one of the chairs of the county chapters. And I wish to acknowledge Dr. Naomi. Kindly just wave. Dr. Naomi Kagone, thank you so much for representing the private sector. I'm aware that CAM may not be here right now, and therefore that acknowledgement. As I continue with the acknowledgements, yesterday you were asked to go and buy some honey. I don't know how many of you did, but there's some very special kind of honey at the exhibitions from KVDA. So I want to acknowledge the contribution to this event of the exhibitors. Like I mentioned, we have the Kerio Valley Development Authority, very nice honey, very nice juices. Kindly pass through there and be sure to get a bottle, a kilo, half a kilo, or a quarter, whichever one you prefer, of honey. Our international guests, please take home some honey, special from Kenya, Kerio Valley. Thank you. So we have other exhibitors that I just want to acknowledge very quickly. We have the Code ID, we have Quantum, we had KEBS, MSEA, and MSEA came in with a whole lot of other SMEs. I cannot mention all of them, but I want to request that if you have not passed through there, please do. Make sure you pass through there and see what we have in display and meet all our exhibitors. And I want to really, really appreciate and thank you for it. Very special appreciation to those of us, those who supported in different ways, in kind. I believe in the morning you got a bag, you got a packet of something, a bottle of water. So we want to appreciate and acknowledge the support of Thika Cloth Mills that sponsored that bag, and Kevian Kenya Limited, who sponsored that juice, that little thing that you're going to take as you go home. Please let's appreciate them with a hand clap. Last but not least, the ED has mentioned that this was solely organized by the Anti-Counterfeit Authority members of staff and of course guided by our board. I want to appreciate all the ACA staff members, wherever you are, officers, interns, attaches, our support system. Thank you so much for your commitment. Thank you for the great work that you have done. And of course, in association to this, we also have the service providers. We could not have done it without a venue. We could not have done it without the meals, and therefore the music, the MC. So thank you so much. Thank you. Let's appreciate this great team. Thank you so much. I think I've given a road deal to the MC. Let's appreciate our MC. And for ourselves, ED, allow me to just ask the participants to do one hustler clap. It is not the Factorio this time. There is the hustler one.
Sorry for that commercial break. Tujipigie makofi tena. I thought it's important to mention before Agnes conclude, we also have a representation from National Defense University. We have Brigadier Chivatsi. Happy Brigadier. Yes, so that people can see you. Tupigie makofi. And maybe to mention is that Anti-Counterfeit Authority, we have already entered into a memorandum of understanding with the National Defense University, which is based in Nakuru. And it was in the, I think, month of April, we were able to train our board members and through the university, the vice chancellor there, and they are good partners as well. And I believe that in the next session, you are going to bring a paper, the intersection between counterfeiting and national security or national defense. So let's clap for them once again. So over to you.
Thank you, ED. And for any of our presenters whose institution I may not have mentioned, all panelists participating in different ways, please feel most appreciated. And now for all of us, mentioned or not, please, let's give what we call the hustler clap. The hustler starts from the bottom and goes up. And therefore we'll give with a factor of 5. We shall start with 1, go to 2, and then you do 3, and like that until we close with 5. Are we clear? Are we clear? So we shall start on the count of 3. We do 1, then we do 2. On the count of 3, we go. We first prepare ourselves. We prepare ourselves. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We go 1, 2, 3. Thank you. You got it right. Thank you, and God bless you so much.
Asante sana, Madam Agnes. If you have received a message on your phone, let's meet in the next 1 hour at the Stanley. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a great honor. I am humbled to have been your MC for the past 2 days, I would say, or almost 2 days. I've learned a lot. I would also like to just appreciate the ACA team led by the ED. Thank you for the stamp of approval and the stamp of confidence in my ability to work together and deliver this wonderful event. I really appreciate. I have learned a lot. I have also made some new friends. I have reconnected. And by the way, I think I should let you guys know the ED is my senior in the communications field. He was a former vice chair in the Public Relations Society of Kenya, where we are still members, and so many other faces that I've seen here. So I'm very, very glad. So therefore, for those who are here, even those in Europe, if ever you need an MC, your answer is right here. Ladies and gentlemen, asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki. I just want to now welcome Mary to please come and close with a word of prayer. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, MC. Let's all be upstanding for the closing prayer. Let's pray. Our Father and our God, we come before you this evening with a lot of gratitude in our hearts. Thank you because we've seen your hand. This symposium has been a success because you were with us. Father, as we are closing, we have made some deliberations and some resolutions. We pray that you'll go with us as we plan to implement. As we leave this place, Father, go with us, give us journey mercies. Till we meet again in the next symposium, we will praise your name. It is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.